Yes, over to you, Sharad.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Satish. I see around 32 people join. That's a good count. First of all, a big vote of thanks to everyone for being part of this session today. As you know, we have completed around 3 years, but today it's one of the biggest milestone that we have achieved till date, and it would not have been possible without all of you because, as you know, SS Agile Gurus is a voluntary platform where we try to um, connect with the like-minded people and see what best we can give to the Agile community, right, in various forms. Most of you might have been there in our jobs groups, product groups, tech groups, right? Then abroad job openings, then project management tools group, PMP group. There are numerous groups that caters to the needs of everyone, which will help them grow and elevate their career to the next level. Of course, it might be a smaller contribution from our side, or it might be a bigger contribution. But over these 3 years, we got lots of feedback, both online and offline, from many people that we have leveraged your services, and in some way or the other, it has helped us to elevate our career. Right? So that is where we feel very, very happy while we do these kind of things. Of course, we do a lot of sessions also, right? I just want to share one slide. Uh, Satish, can I share the screen
Sure, Sharad. Yes, I stop sharing.
before? I can share now, right?
Yes, Sharad, you can.
Let me give it. So this is one of the old dates which we have already presented in our SSAG Cognition 2024. People who have joined might have already well aware of this deck. But just want to give a quick glimpse, like, where we started our journey in 2021, right? And, you know, when we were searching for how to make this platform more efficient, Satish, I've asked good amount of people, and Satish joined with me. And after that, we never looked back in terms of our contribution. Of course, after that, a lot of people have joined, a lot of other groups. They also seriously contributed, right? Um, Somewhere down the line, we will ensure that we recognize each and everyone's efforts in one of the big platforms very soon, which we have thought of in Cognition and the recent one Shining, but somehow it didn't happen for some reasons. But definitely, your contributions, all of your contributions are invaluable to all of us, both of us, and people who don't know, for them, a little bit about what we do, right? Satish usually do in Talkmate in terms of coaching and mentoring people in different areas wherever needed. Of course, he will go through that little bit in detail. Then we do organize, conferences, right? Till now, I think we have organized 6+ conferences where we collaborate with the like-minded industry experts, and they also come voluntarily. Basis our nature of platform and all. A lot of experts used to come voluntary with one call from me or Satish at any point of time, like Anand sir, Koti sir, then Nagini ma'am, then a lot of other people, Ashutosh. Recently we got a lot of experts, people who have been part of our conferences might be well aware. With a single request, people come to us, and try to share their best knowledge on the recent industry trends, which so we need to say kudos to them. With this platform, let's give a big clap to all of them who have been coming voluntarily and sharing their contributions, right? And we have one more noble group called Global Agile Coach Group. Of course, the intent of this group is to share the best coaching practices and any other good things at the global level. To be honest, the activity is not as expected till date compared to where we want to take that group to. But definitely, we have like-minded people. Somewhere the trigger will happen. We always have that confidence that the trigger will happen at some point of time, and people will start sharing the best. And then we have Scrum groups, we have job groups. Earlier, we have only um, job groups that are pertaining to India. But we, last 1 year back, I believe we have started groups from abroad, for abroad also, abroad job openings. Right. For that also, we are getting good response. We are getting good contributors who are selflessly sharing their abroad jobs. So what I request everyone through this platform is a job which is posted in your inbox might or might not be useful to you, but that job might be useful to some other person, because there are around thousands of people across our platforms, around 20,000 plus people, both online and offline, who are active and passive. So someone might get triggered, someone might use your job posting. So I request everyone who are part of this call to please post whatever jobs that you come across, whether technical, non-technical, anything, so that someone might make use of that, right? So in that context, we can create a lot of difference um, voluntarily, right? Then we have product groups, we have ALM tool group for Azure, DevOps, Jira, and all, right? And of course, we are doing the lean coffee sessions. We have a referral database also. Not sure how many of you are aware. We don't make it public because of the confidentiality of the data that is involved with everyone, their phone numbers and everything. But people whoever want to get referred, only referral, right? They won't get you to take to that end where you get the job, right? They only give reference. Okay, that is how we are using the referral database of as of now. And in Telegram, we have good amount of groups, including Scaled Agile group also. There's a materials groups, people who are preparing for interviews, right? No need to look for here and there in terms of material. There is abundance of material that is available in the Telegram group where you can make use of. And if you have any dumps, please post there, which are open source, right? Don't go for the copyrighted materials, which is not allowed in our groups. Any open source material that you can share with the people where they can make use of, please start sharing in that group so that people can utilize. With this, I think I've pretty much covered with respect to our activities. There are good amount of further activities that are planned in the future, which we both are discussing. I believe Satish might give a glimpse of it. And with this platform, I want to give a big vote of thanks to Satish, right? Uh, I believe thanks is not enough. He's such a dynamic person, such a very good asset to SSAG Gurus. And yes, I can't say more than that. He's a gem of a person. Thanks, thanks. With this, I want to hand it over to Satish. Satish, you want to say a few words?
Thanks, Sharat. I mean, I have a couple of slides. Let me start sharing
Please,
as well.
please.
Sure. And again, thanks to Sharat for this initiative, wonderful initiative. What we as SSAGL Gurus right now we are doing it, the various activities, engagements, and the different discussions, sessions, all these things as such. So, two things just to add on. Like the first one, along with the experienced job opportunities, we started internship or freshers opportunities groups as well, and WhatsApp channel as well. Considering the capacity, the freshers and interns WhatsApp channel has more than 4,000 folks, and they are getting a lot of benefits or opportunities. So, if in case not just the experienced opportunities, If in case you come across any of the fresher opportunities or internship within your companies or any known connects, feel free to share with me. We will pass on to that WhatsApp channel and WhatsApp group as well. That way, it will help the freshers to get started with their career opportunities. So that is one thing. The second thing, the ALM, as you know, just now Sharat was mentioning, we have a couple of groups and we are doing lots of sessions, hands-on sessions, the practice as well. And recently we started with our association with the Hyderabad Atlassian chapter. So we will be soon having the in-person Hyderabad events plus virtual events as well. So uh, just watch out the SSAGL groups where we will be sharing about the upcoming Atlassian chapter events. So when you say the Atlassian events, Atlassian, the reason why we are associated with Atlassian, Atlassian is also a community. All the events which they do are free of cost, both virtual and in person. So that's another reason why we are associated with the Atlassian as a community. Okay, so yes, thanks. Through, I mean, just started and everything. So, just to give a quick glance, like last year we started a buddy mentoring program where we can refer a job or endorse a skill or two folks work together as buddies and get started. And the 30 folks registered for the first cohort and they started completed during this year. That is one thing. And this year, as RSG Pune, we as SSAGL Gurus community, we won this award, the Business Agility Award. Of course, because I'm the only one available there and Sharat is not there, so I collected, I took the award from the RSG Pune team, and this as part of the community, and this credit goes to all of us or each of us whoever took part in this wonderful journey. And as Sharat mentioned, we are registered as a Scrum Alliance user group. And till now, we did 4 lean coffee sessions through which we were able to credit 8 SUs for cognition event, in-person event. We were able to create 8 SUs. For Shining virtual event, we were able to create 10 SUs. The SUs is a Scrum education unit, which can be used for renewal of any of your active Scrum Alliance certifications. So this again, we are able to do as part of this association with our Scrum Alliance community. And a quick glimpse of our cognition in-person event, which happened in the Hyderabad in the month during the month of June, and then a Shining 2024 event, which happened in the month of September. These are just quick glimpses, just to give a quick feel of like what we did over the year. Okay, yes. With that, we are here to get started with the questions. We already have 3 questions. Yes. Who would like to get started? Let me remove the spotlight. And, who would like to get started with the first question? How can I become the best project manager in the world? The floor is open. Whoever wants to take it up, we can start.
The best PM in the world, probably the first boarding pass is to get the PMP certification, right?
Okay.
Uh,
I think it's a journey, right? The moment we call ourselves best, we cannot progress anymore. I know the very philosophical here, right? I think start looking at what adds value to the customer instead of just delivering the product, right? So the product is actually useful, not just a random initial spec that we are delivering. Second, look at the team that is delivering, right? It should also keep them happy. Happy teams deliver best products. That's it. That's my 2 cents.
I think best is a subjective term. It is difficult to quantify, what is best and what is worst. But if I have to put my views into this question, I would definitely say that, when you are undertaking a project, you need to know the reasons why that project is being undertaken. Maybe you need to solve a business problem, or you need to address a future business problem, or it could be an opportunity that my customer wants to exploit. So periodically, as a project manager, you need to do a self-retrospective and ask that question, that the very need for which this project was undertaken, are we moving closer towards that need or not? Or are we able to exploit that opportunity? I think that would make any one of us a good project manager. It's not only about delivering the outputs, but are the outputs getting turned into outcomes, turned into benefits, and at the same time addressing the needs, the strategic needs of the customer organization. I think these are certain things that you need to periodically check in order to make an assessment that whether we are moving in the right direction or not. Yeah, that would be my views on the first question.
Thanks, Lakshman, Sudhindra, Rajashi. Anyone else want to add your thoughts before we go ahead?
Maybe to add more. Sorry, go ahead.
My expectation about best project manager will be, it is like depends on definition of best, as other member was telling, might be different from one to other. But the basic expectation from a project manager must have to be involved with project planning, budgeting, all that, stakeholder engagement. But I will think for best project manager, probably along with project management responsibility, if he or she is a better people person, people oriented more, that will add a new dimension to that project management. Along with that, also adding a flavor of people management, and also in Scrum we call it empiricism. So if we project manager follow also empiricism, like inspect, adapt, all those kind of things in his own professional growth, probably he can be a better project manager day by day. Yeah, short answer. Thanks.
Partly Prasad had covered what I was about to say, but at the same time, at the end of the day, if the team is quite happy with their efforts, with their deliverables, ultimately project manager is also successful in his role. So that is how project manager can be called as the best person dealing with the project by satisfying all these criteria, what were just called out by Prasad Swain.
Okay, thanks everyone. Anyone else want to go ahead, or shall we go ahead with the next one?
I would like to say that there is no best project manager who can be the perfect for customers, for team members, for leadership team, everybody. So it's only the way you deliver the value, add value to the project, bring the result, be successful in closing the project. And any problem, any milestone, or any roadblock you get, you'll be just solving it and going ahead. It's the problem solving skills what you expect. And it could be also the case that you are best in one project, and maybe in the next project, it could not be the best. So the solution what you apply for the first project may not be applied to the second project also in the same way. So the things are dealt in a different way, and every project is unique, and you should mold yourself to be a best project manager. It's everyone has to try by themselves. Yeah, that's it.
That's well said, Jeta and everyone.
Right. So I just wanted to convey only one point. I mean, there wouldn't be anything in the world perspective, but as of like Carl mentioned, wherever you work, in order to become a best project manager, just bring something new to the table. So I would only follow one word, that is nowhere. If you go by word, NOWHERE, If you shift left the W, it will be now here. So that's what, if you bring something new to the table, wherever you work in the organization, that would be add value to your role to become a successful project manager. Thank you.
Thanks, Chaturvedi. Thanks.
I just want to add a point over here, like as everyone have given their overall perspective how the project manager should be, but the thing is he can be more communicative in analyzing the risk and also spreading the communication to all the stakeholders. That can make the project more understand and more problematic. Uh, Solving and planning can be more better to add more delivering value. So because risks are not certain and they are uncertain, and with the changing technology, if project manager analyzes that to the best and by, as someone was telling, people specific, so from the people specific what risks are associated while delivering the value that can enhance him to be more accepted in terms of budgeting or financing, if he feels that the budget is more, and if at all he is able to convince the clients that no, from the people perspective risk is more, the technology is diverse, and he want to make things better and this requires more efforts. So that is also one perspective that the companies have to look on, and the project manager have to communicate to the clients. So it's not
Thanks,
about
Pushpalat.
all our scrum. It's about how he, how he able to communicate his process of managing the project, and everyone understands the best from his approach.
Sure.
Satish, I'd like to add one more point. So, back in waterfall methodology, the project manager had a very large scope, people's management, working with the team at the delivery standpoint, satisfying the customer, then costing, budgeting, and everything, the roadmap of the project. But now, after the agile, I think part of the project management activities have been delegated to a new role or a different role called product owner, because product owner is the one who is responsible to ensure that the right value is being delivered to the customer, and he or she indirectly, with the help of scrum master or the agile lead, is working with the team closely at the deliverables standpoint. uh, uh, I mean, the product owner, I was referring to product owner. A product owner, along with the scrum master, is working with the team closely from the deliverable standpoint. So this portion of the responsibility has been delegated to PO, right from the project manager. So isn't it the project manager being confined to just budgeting, roadmap, costing, resource planning, etc.? Probably I would like to throw this question just to understand if my thought process is wrong here. With this bifurcation in the responsibilities between the project manager and the product owner, uh, will the project manager, the role project manager, sustain in the market, and can anyone be still a best project manager in the agile space? Maybe I
Would like
welcome.
to go ahead. Thanks, Lakshman, for the question. Yeah, the follow-up question. Yeah, who would like to go?
I hope when touching upon the product management basics or the project management basics, what I see is, as per the PMI or as per the general practices of project management, when your scope, schedule, cost, quality, stakeholder management, your communication, I think these are the few defined spaces where a project management focuses more. Of course, product is an internalized thing of a project, but there are boundaries, as someone has told, like whether product owner is occupying the space of a project manager, but project manager's entity is beyond this particular part of only product management. That is my view. Because product management occupies a different space, different mindset, different set of people whom a product manager has to talk to or a product owner has to talk to, where project manager doesn't enter. So these two are two different entities. Of course, can be tried by a single person. That is a different thing. But in order to be a good project manager or a better project manager, it is all depends on the situations, as many of you have already touched upon multiple points. So that's where my stand is.
So just to add on, Lakshman, to your question, right? So definitely there is a bifurcation of the roles and the responsibilities coming up, but at the same time, as you rightly mentioned, the product owner focus is on delivering the value or the right product to the customers or to the organization perspective. Whereas to get it done, we need to have that required team members associated with the required skill sets and everything. So that is where having a project manager or someone taking up that lead or that responsibility, accountability of having the right set of team members, the skill set, onboarding, offboarding, the budgeting, and the appraisals, lot of additional responsibilities which are not owned by either product owner or scrum master at a team level. That is another reason why still the project manager is existing. And as you see, like even the PMI revised the PMP course content, and they brought in that agile concepts, the agile budgeting, agile sprints, and everything within their PMI course content as well. And especially if we talk about the service company, right? So like Infosys, Wipro, TCS, the product owner might be or could be from the client side, whereas from the vendor company, the service company, to have that client interaction or the client coordination and everything, we might still need a project manager from that perspective. Yes, there are two different thoughts from my side.
Yeah, I think it is definitely, project management is not yet becoming irrelevant, because when you say management, right, if everything is fixed, for example, your scope is fixed, your budget is fixed, your timelines are fixed, then the aspect of management kind of, is not there at all. So management comes in place only when, these three variables have some kind of a change. If scope changes, it has an impact on, the cost and the time. If the time changes, it has an impact on the cost and the scope. So that's where the skill of a project manager comes in terms of how do you balance that, right? I'm sure all of us would appreciate the fact that there's no project that we are going to work on, regardless of whether it's agile or waterfall, where the scope, time, and the cost is ever going to always remain fixed, right? There would be some variations going forward when you're into the implementation of the project. So project management would definitely be applicable and that is my perspective. I mean, and we need to define the clear boundaries between, okay, what would be the product owner do, what would the project manager do.
Yes.
So roles and responsibilities would need to be very clearly kind of, defined out to avoid the ambiguities.
Okay, cool. Are you good? Shall we go ahead?
Satish, a quick question in the same lines, if I may.
Yes.
So when we take Agile, there is a structured certification journey, right? So is there anything for the project management professionals?
Yes, there is. I can give you for project managers who want to become lean project managers, right? There is a certification which is covering, I think, 3 levels. There is a yellow belt, green belt, and a black belt level that they cover. So that certification is quite a good certification, and it goes into the absolute details of how a project manager can actually work in a lean and agile kind of a setup. So it's a very good certification. I have done 2 levels of it, I think about 2 years back. Yeah, so it was a good information for me.
It's
Learning for me.
from whom, Rajarshiji?
It is from an organization called as, just give me a moment. Let me just tell you the name. It's leanpm.org, I think. I'll just find it out now. While I'm talking to you, I'm also searching. Yeah, it's called as Lean Project Management Foundation. Right. So if you just do a Google search, then you will see.
But I think, while that is a good one, I think PMP itself, it's providing a lot of certifications, no? Satish,
Yes.
programmed.
PMI, project PMP,
Sorry, PMI.
PGMP, PFMP, Program Management.
That is
Portfolio
on project
management
programs
professional.
and that is on project programs and portfolios. But
Yes.
if you are a person who is a project manager and you want to work as a project manager in a lean or agile kind of a setup, then this certification goes into the depth of the things that you need to focus on.
Sure, that helps, Rajesh. Thanks.
I think we can go to the next question.
Yes.
Just in time.
Okay. Yes. The next question. Whether bugs to be story pointed or not. If no, how do we account the team's load or effort when team handles significant number of bugs during a sprint, as this effort doesn't reflect in the velocity? One of the interesting question. The agile ways of
Can
working.
this be a little bit specific? Is it for the development team or is it for the testing team, or how is it?
It is for the team. When you say the team, agile team, it could be dev and testing together. The typical agile team composition could be
developers
again,
team, combination of both developers and testers. So here's the thing, Satish. I'd like to share my views. I was working for a different company 2 months ago. We were working for a project. We are 10 Scrum teams. Every Scrum Master had 2 teams to handle. While my team was following a different approach towards bugs, there are other teams within the same project following a different approach altogether, which is quite contrast. So we were asked to, before I joined the company, the old practice was create development tasks under these bugs from SIT, pre-prod, production, UAT. And then the subtasks were asked to be created, and then the developers had their own subtasks, and QA had their own subtask under the production bug. Let's say, for instance, let's talk about the production bug. And this approach was not complemented. The reason being, when a production bug has come to our notice, there is no way on earth we will be able to provide the estimation, because it has to undergo analysis, understand the root cause, understand the dependent components, understand the dependent systems, and also you should also figure out if you have any gray areas and also bridge the gap. So for a developer to go through this entire process, it is very hard. It is unfair to ask a developer to story point a bug, right? So that is when the process change has come in, and we were asked to only log the time being spent on the bugs using time tracking Jira tool, while the other teams were following a different approach of story pointing the bugs. But my team, we had a different this approach of only logging the time spent on the bugs. So time tracking tool in Jira has the beauty of updating the time being spent on analysis. Let's say developer had spent 2 hours on analysis and 2 hours on fixing the bug, or maybe 6 hours on fixing the bug, and then testers spent 2 hours. So for every event, there is a possibility of logging the time being spent. Now, this is what we were following, but unfortunately, we couldn't arrive to a conclusion, or we couldn't arrive to a consensus. How do we actually show this effort being spent in time on bugs in the velocity? Because velocity talks only about these story points at the end of the day, right? So this was never ending question until I left the company. It was not resolved. So still, I'm just looking for various platforms where I can throw this question from me, where I can throw this query and expect some good insights. Probably I can learn from it and see how best I can ensure that the efforts being spent on the bugs are accounted for the velocity or the team's effort at the end of the day. Yeah, over to the team audience.
Sudhindra, you raise your hand.
Yeah, this is a classic problem. I think if I see that there is one team that is not facing this problem, it might be the dream team. I'm sorry if any of you are having such dream teams. I'm jealous, right? Um, to the way I see it, right? Testing has to be completed in the same sprint to be considered as, and then to go to the sprint review and then uh, ultimately going to delivery, and only then we should consider it as part of the velocity. If it is not completed, then the story will obviously move to the next sprint. Right? But this is where the developers also always raised an issue that now in the next sprint, in addition to the stories, we should also work on the bugs. So there are occasions where if a bug comes in the same sprint, it is part of the story. This is what we have done, because ultimately, if a developer does their job in the correct way, the bug should not come. I mean, we are not robots, so we're all humans. Bugs are meant to come, but in an ideal situation, they should not come. So it should not be story pointed. It's part of the story. All right. But when in an occasion where the story gets spilled over and the bug is taking a lot of time, only on an exceptional basis it was story pointed. I still don't encourage that, but that's what I've seen Scrum teams doing. But ideally, I don't want the bug to be. But if it comes as a defect, once it goes to production and comes as a defect, yes, we definitely have story point.
So just to add one point, what you mentioned in the last, Sudhindra, like if in case any bug which is taking more effort from the team, and it could be various reasons why a bug is there. So if that is the case, what we used to follow is like convert that bug into a story and make the team
Yes.
estimate the efforts, so that like at least that way we can still showcase the effort spent by the team.
For
Absolutely,
me, at
Satish.
least
This is
bug
how
should
actually
be
one
the
of the requirement gap
bugs
came
should
up.
be always prioritized, like whether it's important to be solved, whether it is blocking to move forward, or whether you can solve it in any other way, take some time in complete within the sprint and solve it. It's always prioritized. And then if this is really having completing the goal of that sprint, then that bug should be solved, must be solved. Or if this bug can be solved later after the sprint, then this bug can be moved to the next sprint also. So you can always have the data lake kind of thing in most of the tracing tools where you trace the log time, analyze where exactly it is, and then you can calculate the velocity. I mean, you can pluck out all those fields from SQL, and then you can just make a pictorial representation or anything where exactly it is coming, and then what impact it is making to satisfy the sprint goal.
Satish, I just going back, I agree with your point. There were occasions when we identified a bug, we realized that there was a requirement gap. So whole lot of new user stories came out of those those bugs, and those are the bugs. I mean, all these were story pointed, including the bug, because significant amount of time went into analyzing and then coming out with those requirements, which were initially missed.
Absolutely. In that scenario, like there will be a debate between the product owner and team that it is considered as a change request or because it is a missing requirement.
Well, the bug becomes a change request or a requirement because it should go into the thing where product owner should decide automatically, right? Whether the ticket is correct or not. Bug is the one which comes very later, at the later stage after developing. It could be it depends upon the developer also. Maybe this happens because of that.
Yes, but in fixed bid projects, there is a challenge where your schedules are fixed and you have a penalty clauses in place. So at that point of time, it is, in order to buy that extra time, obviously it is a challenge for project managers also to get, to make it acceptable to make it acceptable that it is a CR and, to work on top of it because your scope is increased.
At least I had this kind of opportunity, and there was some APKs in an app where they were not supporting, and then we have to extend it till the new APKs are released in the Android ones. Then we have simply postponed it, and then we concentrated on something which is very much required during that time. So you can change the prioritization when it is really not supporting. No libraries are supporting for that class.
Yeah, I agree to that. Few can be removed out of your list, but sometimes they want everything.
It will not be removed. Maybe you put it as obsolete or something, and then you put it again later.
Yeah.
Go to the product backlog and then put again later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And if the stakeholders are good and then they can understand those things, that would be the best part.
Exactly. That is the important point. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Shishidhar and Subramaniam and Sudhindra. I saw Vibha and Asha raise your hands. Vibha, you want to go first?
I do agree with all the points that has been discussed so far, but only questions that has been that I want to understand here. Someone said that there is a bug and the defects is something different. If that is bug, are you considering it is the that whatever we have considered the sprint, if there is any story that bug is coming, you're considered as bug, and defect is something what I understand is that if it is in production we are getting anything, they are it is considered as defect, but it is not like that, right? Bug and defects are almost same thing that we are considering, right?
Yes, Vibha. Like that again, based upon the organization context and the way we define the approach, how we want to handle or how we want to take it up. Ideally,
Go ahead,
ideally any issue identified within the user story should get fixed along with the story based upon the definition of defined, right? So until unless it is coming as a production issue or something else, maybe at a later point of stage where the UAT or pre-prod or any other stage where it is coming up as a identified, that's when we might be logging as a separate defect or a bug, and definitely that might be the place where the team might have to do the estimate again based upon the context.
So basically that also in my organization, what they used to do, they will be creating the incident number if there is any issue logged in the production or pre-production side, and that incident is getting discussed, and the story will be getting created after analyzing all those things.
Exactly.
And that we will be able to take in this upcoming sprint, and we will be able to estimate as per the velocity.
Yes, and if it is created as a story, definitely the team might be going through doing the analysis and do the estimates as well for the implementation. Yes.
Got it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Sure. Asha?
Thanks, Satish. So I have 2 points which I thought to put it over here to the group.
Sure.
When the team's velocity is coming on the estimating a defect or not, whatever it is, for a team comes in, getting a defect is as normal as it is for any Scrum teams. So my approach or what I'm following from a couple of years is that there is a 5% to 10% of our team's capacity is always allocated or taken in our consideration that some of the unexpected work comes for the team. Maybe it might be the velocity may go up or down, whatever it is. That 10% was used by my team to understand or analyze these type of issues coming in the sprint. The second concept we followed in our teams is that there was a firefighter concept where it is a rotational in the teams where one of the person will be taking care for each sprint who will be working towards these type of issues when it comes up, whether it's the defect or any issue raised, incident raised, has come from the recent release or from the previous releases, or is the customer have raised it. So that analysis part has to be taken care by one of the team members. It is not by a specific person, but it was a rotational. And we used to check whether it is a really a defect from the previous release. Then we have to fix it by the next release date. So we accommodate our backlog, we review our backlog, change it and accommodate it. If it was from the earlier releases or from the long back requirement change or a requirement gap based on analysis done by the firefighter, we used to create another stories and put it in the backlog. So it's totally the practice what the team can adopt and do it. But estimating a defects, most of the teams does it. If it is a really a defect and needs to be taken care in the sprint has to be done. So we used to say that, okay, if you can estimate it and do it because you know what you have to do for that defect. So that was a few of the things I have followed. Maybe that can add a value over here.
This is Sharath here. From my perspective, I try to explain one of the scenarios. See, ultimately, with respect to the bug, we need to understand what is that we are trying to achieve at the end of the project. We want to improve your team's efficiency and efforts, and you want to do some process improvements, right? Where you want to take that team over a period of time so that they give good contribution to that project, right? So if we, in my view, if you take story points for a bug, this is again I'm telling in the context of billing versus non-billing in-house product, right? Where if you encourage people to do more story points for bugs also, they not all the teams. Again, here I'm putting a disclaimer. People get used to adding more story points for the bugs and ensure they gain more sprints. That way they get more billing, right? This is only one of the contexts. So if you really want your team to improve their code and ensure they are delivering much better than expect, then you need to discourage this kind of adding story points to the bugs. But yes, not all the bugs. There are some bugs because if you are working with a partner, there might be some dependencies in your project itself from your organization, which they can't help, right? Those kind of bugs you can still encourage where that will take substantial time to fix, and those can be asked to be estimated, and those can be paid. But in general, my experience is it's always good to discourage story pointing on building for bugs, but it needs to be classified, and we need to take some close reference like what kind of bugs we can ask them to estimate and what kind of bugs we can. It's a tough call, but project to project we have to take those calls. Otherwise, it will become a habit to the teams. Those kind of things. This is my 2 cents.
True, Sharath. Shiva here. Can I go ahead, Satish?
Sure, Shiva, please.
Yeah. So as the context here, it is the defect which reported within the sprint, right? Within the sprint means we should not estimate the story point for those defects because the defects are reported within the sprint are from the acceptance criteria. Something is missing, something is not met that what the developer is supposed to build for as per acceptance criteria. it is not building, then it's a defect within that sprint. So it shouldn't be estimated story point for those defects. If there are any defect, as Satish also mentioned, one that if the defect is taking more time, like it may take 3 days, 5 days, 7 days to fix and test and deploy it, then it will be created a separate intake or a separate story that can be created. But within the sprint, if there are any defect reported by dev and those defects are reported by testers, then it shouldn't be estimated. Thanks, Satish.
Thanks, Shiva.
Can
Are we good?
can I share one thought?
Yes, Albert, please.
So only thing is, what do we mean by story points? That is something you need to define. Okay, are you estimating a story point to cover your effort? That is, I am spending this much of effort in a sprint, and this is my output, or are you story pointing the outcome? This defines whether this is how I look at. This defines whether you need a story point a defect or not. Okay, and someone asked whether defect and bug is same or not. It is same in my context. The way how I look at. Let me give you one thought. If everybody agrees, if it is in a sprint, it is not yet done. The story is not done the way how it should be. So it need to be fixed. There's no story point for that. Now comes the production. Now, production is a tricky. Many people will say, "Hey, this is I'm spending a extra effort, everything, right?" So that's the reason everyone is converting to story and trying many other ways. Now, think about this. You are going to a shop. You are buying a pen. What do we do first time? We just put our autograph. If it is not working, will we buy that? Most of the times our answer is no, 99.5%, right? What does that mean to our customers? They got a bug. Does that mean our product is working as expected or not? Typically we call this as lesser value or delayed value. Delivering a delayed value. When there's a bug in a production, it is called as delivering a delayed value. So to fix that, if I put a story point, we are double counting the story points, because for me the value is the outcome that the customer is getting, right? That time I do not put story points. But if you are having a if you want to showcase, hey, my team spent 3 days 5 days on this bug, so I need to have the story point. Yeah, that is like output. Every member is having eight story points worth of effort every sprint, and go on. That's an output, not outcome. So this is something which I want to tell to put a different point of view. Thank you. I have one point, Subbu here. Almost approximately the similar scenario, but if I consider a T&M project, okay, so there we used to track like this, we used to track the delivery variance. What is the difference in the delivery of the stories which we have committed versus, because here the number of bugs are more, so obviously it impacts on the delivery variance, what is happening. And also there is something like a defect effort which we used to calculate, like it was asked here, in this particular question, that where these efforts are being calculated. So even though if we are tasking it and we are counting the number of hours onto it, so there we are counting like the number of efforts which we are put on the bug resolution on a particular epic should not exceed 25% of its total efforts. So this is how I mean, one way where we used to look into, since that being a T&M, again the context will change if you change the type of the project. So this worked out for that particular client and particular project. Might not be the same fit for all, but yeah, these two things may help, because only story pointing it and just showcasing the value in terms of story points may not help the product on a whole, because here we are not trying to see what the Sonar Cube talks, what the code quality is about, what code smells are about, what the security hotspots are saying, so what the code vulnerability is, what is the code coverage is. So these are not discussed in this particular point. So I think those are to be taken into consideration. Then obviously I think this will be nullified on a certain course of time. Yeah, that is my view. Thank you.
Thanks, Albert. Thanks, Subbu, for sharing your thoughts. Will you go ahead?
Satish, I just want to add here what happens in my project regarding bugs. So ours is already a developed application wherein the application teams use our application, and whenever there is a bug reported, like someone was telling, right? If the bug comes from production and that is critical, we have to get it resolved and story points get added. So we come across incidents, and based on that, we create a bug and we estimate it and we provide story points. So every time, at least in the sprint, we have 2 to 3 bugs assigned for an engineer, and they work on it because already it's an enhanced application, developed application. So they think that if that bug is not rectified and it's not fixed on, we don't add value to the application, and the problems come across. So we have made a epic also for bugs, especially which are very critical, so that we can track out the bugs that have been arising, and if at all there is any extra requirement or further enhancements to be made for the application, these bugs will be reviewed on, or based on the bugs they will try to see that to enhance more value, that these type of bugs doesn't arises for. So this is the way we handle the bugs in our team. So I don't know whether we are right or wrong, but this is the way we try to fix the story points and bugs, and we try to make our velocity also considering the bugs and story points that have been added for the team.
Thanks, Pushpalata. As Albert was mentioning and Subbu was also mentioning, right? So it's not just about the velocity or story points or how much work the team is doing. End of the day, how much value the customer or the end users are getting by the work which is done by the team. So that's what the focus should be. And the moment we call a bug or a defect or incident, anything coming up, which means indirectly we need to start focusing on what's the gap or what's the improvements it is required from the team perspective, and what could be the reason. It could be any stage, whether it is within the sprint, the UAT, pre-prod, or even the production. Anytime we need to start doing that analysis, and we need to see how we can improve the quality of the deliverables. That's what I want to say before we go ahead. Okay. The next question. AI is booming and its presence across the globe, irrespective of fields. What is the impact that we foresee in agile space as far as Scrum Master or Agile Coach roles are concerned?
Is it okay I take this first?
Sure, Albert.
See, I am a disclaimer. I am not a fan of IA. Okay, let me tell why. Again, here, like before, I defined what is Scrum Master role is all about. If the Scrum Master role is all about impediment resolver, okay, and enabling the team performance to deliver, okay, AI cannot replace you. But if you define Scrum Master as a calendar scheduler, or giving status update, reporting, and things like that, okay, not the core of what the Scrum is saying, you will be replaced. Why? What you are doing as a status update, the burn down chart update, the what is that? The daily stand up running, the calendar invites, a machine can do. I don't need a human for that. However, enabling the creative thinking, enabling the resolution for the impediments, not by following up and things like that, but enabling the people, working on people's capability or enhancing that. That's a skill which will be which will make us redundant when there is an actual intelligence comes in, not artificial. Today, your artificial intelligence is all about there is already something. I'm just doing it better. Repeated work, I'm doing it better. Mainly, okay. Even if you take your generative AI, RAG, and whatever you classify, it is generating based on a learning that is done. It doesn't create a new knowledge. Okay, that will be coming only when actual intelligence is in, which we have right now, but definitely AI is going to get it in another 10-20 years. So you define what you are or what is your scrum master role means for you. Based on that, yeah, I am against AI in Agile. Okay, even recently, I think Jeff Sutherland, posted saying that they have implemented AI in Scrum and which is doing 60% more work than 2 weeks, 200%, and it is writing, it is estimating, and things like that. That is, my point is, so chickens are estimating for pigs' work, right? Because estimation and those kind of things are the places where you can do better. How you coach your team and bring their capabilities. That's what the Scrum Master is all about, not a steno or a secretary. That job will be done by AI. That's all. Thank you.
Albert, you stole the words. Sorry, Satish, if I jumped in. Right. I want to immediately add points to what Albert said. That's why I did not raise my hand. Sorry. I'm an AI lover, right? But I'm absolutely an agilist, and I feel just like Albert said, if you are a core Scrum Master, AI cannot replace you. Intelligence, original intelligence can and will. That is future, long time to go. But looking at the current scenario, right? An organization expects us to do a lot, and all these uh, meeting setup, report generation, these are transactional events, right? And in the current scenario, what I'm seeing and what I feel is a lot of Scrum Masters' time is going into transactional events than actual Scrum Mastery, where your job is to enable your team to be their best. But with this AI, and I want all the Scrum Masters and coaches to use AI to reduce their the time they spend on transaction events, and whatever you are saving, spend it on team. Enable them, even like give them more quality time and be a Scrum Master. And that part, and if you're doing that part, I think you don't have to worry about AI replacing you at any point. It's my tip.
From my side, I would say, at least in some projects, AI is completely prohibited. You cannot use any of the AI tool when you're working for that project. For example, you have to use your own brain. It's completely rule-wise. It is written in the statement of work, for example. Then it's completely in your hand. It's your creativity, how you be as a Scrum Master. And what I see, at least in PMP perspective, there are all new certifications coming on for AI, leadership with AI, and then using AI, how the project manager has to work, and how you have to minimize your time, and then invest in something more. I mean, for example, you create a table or you create a budget planning, earn value analysis. You take 1 day or something like that. So it helps you just to minimize your time. What already somebody had told.
Thanks, Sridhar Vijeta. Venkat?
Venkat, I think he's still recharging.
No,
Venkat,
no.
yours.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we are able to hear you, Venkat.
Okay, okay. See, I would take couple of points here. Okay, so like I mean, as somebody before me spoke, I think after Albert, that we can use AI for transactional stuff. Okay, but again, see, I typically currently work in projects which has a lot of complexity and which has a lot of regulatory compliance and a lot of HIPAA compliance and all. But still, like, the organization wants to leverage AI typically for, yeah, GDPR compliance is also there. So the organization still wants to work with AI. The reason being, we have something called like Copilot from Microsoft. So typically, organization wants to use Copilot from Microsoft, and which is again integrated to your organizational data. So we use a lot of those kind of stuff typically, and that is typically for the transactional and for some analytical insights. Okay, so rest all the stuff it's your human part, so which is typically needed.
There's a word of caution, right? Everyone who's using AI, every prompt you give is, I know you are getting AI's perspective, but you have to know that with every prompt you are training AI, right? So be very careful while giving any data into AI, whether it's personal information, client information. So the prompt should be very specific.
It,
At the same time, my organization, we are building a layer above. Of course, we have partnership with Microsoft, that, and we have built a layer on the top of Copilot saying any data that we give is not used for training and it will not go into their servers. So we only get the answers out of it. So these are some things that you can always consider. And we are working on a compliance and highly regulatory industry, and we are still using Copilot for development. And the target is to achieve 40% increase in productivity. We are at 18% right now. How we are measuring, we are just comparing with historic data. How accurate it is, it's debatable. Yeah.
Thanks, Sudhindra. Thanks, Venkat. Yeah,
Um,
Lakshman?
can I
Yes,
one more
yes,
with I
yes,
think
Albert.
Jitendra said only productivity, right? It is one of the knife, I would say. Okay. So
I
it's
was
one of
saying
them.
devil, yeah.
Okay, it's a devil. Okay, it's a double-sided knife for me. The reason is, can anybody tell me a highly jammed highway? Is it a very effective and highly utilized system? How productive it would be?
We know the Bangalore traffic.
Exactly,
Highly
I'm
jammed.
talking about. Right? Is it a highly productive thing? Everybody hates it, right? Now, your automobile gives maximum, max to max is 60% of the power. Remaining 40 is gone. Is that is highly productive?
No.
No.
It depends, right? You know, if you
This is the thing. This is the
see
devil
again,
and knife we are talking about.
see
Okay.
again, like for the use of productivity improvement using AI and all, like that I
It's very
completely don't
transactional.
agree. Yeah, that I
Very
completely don't
transactional.
agree. That I completely
yeah,
don't agree. Typically, okay. See, productivity even with AI, if I mean it again depends on the individual. If the individual doesn't want to work, even you give him a super duper
Absolutely.
environment, he will not work. Okay,
Absolutely. That's exactly what I wanted to tell.
he doesn't work. Okay, so that's not the stuff which we I mean we'll have to consider, because if somebody says that AI improves my productivity, typically that's I mean
I seriously question that.
yeah
yeah.
same here.
Luck is we don't measure at individuals, right? It's still at the team level and at the org
Yes.
level. So
Yeah,
when I say
even
increase, yeah.
so even I
That's why I
responded to
started saying
Jeff's
debatable, yeah.
yeah, even I responded to Jeff's article that like whatever you're saying, you typically violating to your the
Their own
very
principles.
very own principles which you signed, okay, and which you made us to teach and preach and live by it for the past like what 20 plus years, okay. Like individuals over in tools and all, and now with this, like what would be your individual interactions, like where it is, what it is, and all, like I mean that's debatable typically, but yeah. Sorry, Lakshman, we cut you
What
out.
interesting I found is there is a certification in PMP called Generative AI Data Landscape AI for project managers. So there they clearly say that it's a licensed version or else ChatGPT 4 or Gemini something else with the security layers, and then you can use it. But I don't know how far this could be implemented in the organizations.
Yeah, it is there at everybody, like including PMI has it, Safe has it. Okay, it's called Safe Copilot. Okay, it's typically the rack systems. Okay, yeah, Lakshman, please go ahead, Lakshman.
Yeah, I mean, before Lakshman jumps in, like, see, one thing we need to understand, like, using AI to help our role or our job becoming effective or easy, yes, we can. Here, the question is like whether the Scrum Master Agile Coach will be replaced or will it be impacted? Yes, there is what we need to again figure out whether, recently there was a video on LinkedIn where the AI bot is facilitating the daily Scrum. So if
what?
the AI chatbot or AI bot is facilitating the daily Scrum,
Yeah,
asking questions to the team members, what you did yesterday, what are
yeah,
you
I
going to
think
do today?
I recently
Yeah.
attended a
Yes.
demo, Satish. Okay, just to let to the team, like in
Mhm.
our in the organization where I coach currently, we have we have some agreements with Microsoft, and Microsoft gave us a demo of an agent or a bot getting implemented in Teams 365 and wherever it is, including ADO. So it typically do these kind of activities.
So I was also just going through the video of daily Scrum. Then the moment I saw, I felt like whatever the team answers, according to that, it will, but it will not cross question or it will not see whether they are apt in answering or what blocker they are having until and unless the team developer tells on, right? So I was just thinking that daily Scrum is an impediment resolver, and you know how chatbot comes on. It was asking whether you are having a blocker. If at all I answer, I don't have a blocker. What can it do?
I
It
think
says very
See,
good.
empathy.
so the one who posted that video, I gave a sarcastic comment, and he took it in the opposite way. He loved my comment. Uh, but I think like we are talking, right? The idea of daily Scrum is not all people answering to a Scrum Master, right? And if that is the Scrum Master job, yes, we are all in trouble. What organizations are struggling to understand is that's not Scrum Masters.
Lakshman, yes, you are right. You
Yeah.
raised your hand for a while, please.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, partly, so my view, I mean, most of which has been already covered by various speakers. Artificial intelligence in its presence in agile, especially. So I have few aspects to just discuss at a very high level. Estimations. If AI bot is implemented to do the estimations, so but how can AI bot does the estimation on a user story which is actually supposed to be done by a human? At the end of the day, human resource is the one who should be able to estimate and understand how long does the user story take for him or her to complete it, right? So this AI estimations definitely go for a toss. I mean, the project goes for a toss if the AI bot is asked to do the estimations. Then there would be no interactions during the daily stand-up calls, as someone just rightly mentioned that the AI is just taking the notes of the meetings and then asking, do you have an impediment A, Y, I mean, Mr. X, Mr. Y. Simply, this is not the essence of the daily stand-up meetings. And for that matter, the Scrum Master, right? A Scrum Master's job is not to take the updates from the team members, rather to ensure that whether the team is actually progressing towards the accomplishment of the sprint goal. Let the team discuss in the daily stand-up call, understand whether as a team collectively, whether they are achieving the goal or not, and if there are any impediments, they should call out. And this everything, the human aspects, the human emotions, the constructive discussions or the humors, everything misses when AI is installed or expected to take the to run the show, replacing the human element Scrum Masters. And so, for various factors, apart from these couple of rationals, human intelligence definitely must and should take the precedence over artificial intelligence, is my view. And maybe I would like to call out, maybe I would like to request many chapters like RSG Hyderabad or Pune, Mumbai, across India should actually bring a point of discussion in the agile space to condemn the AI presence in the agile space. Maybe you can start an initiative to condemn the AI presence. This is unnecessarily creating buzz and leading to many confusions or apprehensions. The psychological safety is one biggest concern among the agile experts in this space. So this is my view.
So this is Sharath here. Just want to add my thoughts. So I think in the recent past, last 6 months to 1 year, we have conducted around 2 to 3 sessions with the so-called industry experts like Anand sir, Ashutosh. A lot of people have joined and shared their views on AI. Whether it can be a replacer or it can be a friend which can help us. So most of them, agree to a point that it is going to help us in a certain way. Maybe it is in a very initial stages because in AI we have 3 stages, right? Artificial intelligence, and super intelligence. Narrow intelligence is where we are at the very initial stages in terms of training bots, getting the required amount of data to understand different scenarios. This exercise at the global, not at the global level, but most of the areas is at the initial stages. That's why you are not getting the outcomes as expected. But there will be a day, right? Say for example, how Elon Musk has got the rocket to its uh, uh, source, right? We all might have seen that video, right? Never ever we thought in our mind that rocket is going to come to its own source stage, right? But he has made that wonder. So the same way, here also things will take time, but eventually that is going to happen, and we are going to see that. But we should be a continuous learner. That is what I believe in it. So that despite how many automations or how many AI is coming, we will still can prove our human intelligence and move. That is my view.
Thanks, Sharath. We have you folks raised the hand. Yes, Albert.
I just want to correct only one thing before Sharath, another person spoke, right? I think Venkat, I think he said human resources, right? Remove the word resources from our vocabulary. We need to make sure we are people.
Hey, Albert, I think it's not me. I think some other.
I'm not sure who. I'm not sure who. Whether you are.
I hate that word resources, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know about.
Thanks, Albert, for joining. I know we are all old friends. Maybe someone.
I'm not sure who. Okay, but
But
someone
anyways,
told
yeah.
human resources.
Sure.
So let's remove the word resources from our vocabulary. This also stems to the whether I am replaceable or not. Will I be replaced by another system? When you're considering yourself as a resource, you are replaceable by something better. And you don't have any emotion, nothing. But we are all people. We have emotions, we have our own intelligence and things like that. We are not replaceable that easy. We know how to bring best out of everything, right? So consider ourselves as people than resources. Yes, our industry pushed too much of that word into our brain. We just think resource, resource, resource. Let's come out of that.
Definitely agree with you, Albert. Rekha?
Yes, thank you. So yeah, two things really. First and foremost, the bot is more like a minute keeper, not more than that at the moment, basis what we've seen in LinkedIn. And second thing, like we are the torch bearers. So and we should be the first one walking the talk wherein we say we welcome the change. So let it float, let it calm, and we keep looking at it. Only when we look at it will we be able to make informed decisions and inform everyone else also the differences as to how we stand edge over how HI stands edge over AI. If we keep moving away from it, we might not be in a comfortable position to really quote examples or instances. So that's why we should not condemn. On the contrary, we should try and, be looking at it, observing it wherever possible, and look at it in the wider context of things. That is all I had to say.
Thanks. Thanks, Rekha. Subbu? And we will move on to the next question.
Yeah, only one doubt is lingering in my mind related to the experimentation or whatever you call that Venkat and their organization might have done. By buying a product from the Microsoft, what could be the convincing point for the organization where empiricism is not in picture and the tool is taken? Is it only an experimentation or just want to know, just a curious question, because most of the organizations, of course, they are building their own LLMs and they are trying to train it. Maybe if a Scrum Master is being replaced by I mean, just for meetings, not on the empirical part, then probably a developer can also be replaced by embedding the AI tools in VS Code or wherever IDEs where team can work.
No,
So I just want
that is something which many organization is doing, including mine.
Okay.
Replacing the developer itself.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's where, just now, as Rekha was mentioning, the human intelligence is really required. And my individual perspective again, so we can definitely make use of the AI tools as a complement to our human intelligence and get benefit out of it rather than replacing any individual or any role as such. That's what my personal thoughts or opinion. Okay, yes, let's move on. We have two more questions and 2 more minutes, but yes, let's continue. Maybe stretch for another 5-10 minutes. So the expectation of having team members on camera during the daily stand-ups, should that be made as a policy or a best practice? Ways to deal with members who are not on board with this idea.
I can take it if it's okay.
Yes, please.
So, currently we are definitely like everyone is dispersed and mostly remote. So, do we want to coerce it on anyone? Not really, because this is human psyche. The more you force someone, the further you want to move away from it. But yeah, as a best practice, certainly. And this is where the Scrum Master plays a key role. You influence people, you motivate them, you encourage them, and there are no two similar things that you can do, because each team is different, their enthu could be different, their complacencies could be different. So this is where, knowing your team, you will use the verbiage required. So like in my instance, we have, I mean, I have teams wherein a lot of them, so the way we started was like, okay, where are you based and where are you based and so on and so forth. We got to know that we are actually varied, spread across the globe. And we're like, have we seen each other? Not really, right? How about switching on the camera sometimes? Let's look at each other and start talking. So gradually the team opened up. We started with one day in a week, then we moved to 2 days in a week. So short answer to the long explanation is, do you make it a policy? No. Do you make it a best practice? Yes.
I'm going next. In my organization, no one switch on the camera when I was joining initial days. My camera is on every meeting. It doesn't matter which meeting it is, where I am, nothing. It will be on. By default, it gets on. Slowly, one by one, people started switching on. Today, most of my meetings, the meetings which I am, people switch on their camera by immediately after joining. Okay, this is a practice which can be influenced without title, without a policy document, without anything. Just that we need to be little patience, nudge them, like she told, right? So nudge them continuously. What is the benefit? As rightly told, we are far away. To be frank, what is the most beneficial way of communication? It's face to face, and we are not able to. What is the next best? Video conferencing. Speak this continuously to them, make them understand. Yes, they will give hundreds of reasons. Some of the reasons are you will laugh by yourself, but then allow that reason and then say, hey, at least once a day or once a week.
Can't agree more to this.
Yes, it is. We need to understand we are working from home also. Our environment might not be a right situation. Also, many times unconsciously we make them excluded. Say, for example, if someone is background noise is coming, if you show a little bit of facial expression change, they will stop. Okay, and that puts them back a lot. Rather, hey, I understand you're working from home, so don't worry about it. That gives them the psychological safe area. Then they will start working with you in terms of, hey, this guy is like me, so I don't need to worry about. Okay, this helps a lot. Policy, even if you tell it as a best practice, they won't even care. The only way to make it happen, you start. Now you ask yourself a question: are you switching on your camera during the meetings, irrespective of whether others have switched on or not? Thanks.
Thanks, Albert. Thanks, Rekha. Okay, will you go ahead? The last one. How to crack FANG companies. I have been using everything except copy using AI tools of JD in the CV, but still it's not getting scrutinized. Any other options?
What does FANG needs that you have? That's a crucial question to ask. Now you get a delta. FANG is asking 10 items, you have only 1 item. So remaining 9 is the delta. Now start working on it to improve on that 9 items. You cannot do 9, at least 8 or 5 or some number. This is where that second part, right? I have been using exact copy, using AI tools and all those stuff of JD and things like that. Yes, it gives you a probability how much you have and all those stuff. But during there are tools now getting developed to identify whether this is copy paste or not. You may not know even to identify whether it's a deep fake videos or not. There are open source code, there are closed source code. Okay, so in such kind of scenarios, and if it is integrated with your ATS, Remember, ATS loves a boring resume, not your jazzy pictorial resume. So you need to work on that also. Almost all FANG has only ATS. You cannot cross it if you are having a jazzy, up-to-date template kind of. Keep it boring, your resume boring, and try feed as much as possible to it so that it can cross that ATS and go to the human, which is HR. And I'm not sure what is the experience level on an average here. If you are anywhere above 8 years experience, if you are applying through ATS, chances are very less because FANG typically works on reference. I know this guy, I have worked with this guy, we can take him. Because I know one, I think Sweden company which hires only through referral. No announcement of their job itself. It's only through referral, through that team. It's only the team and the team people who know others. So anyone above 8 years should have very good networking with people in these companies. This is something which I know personally because almost from 2015, I am getting job only through referrals, not through submitting the resume and things like that. Yeah.
So connecting to this question, like Albert and everyone know your experiences. How about the LinkedIn success rate? Applying through LinkedIn, there also I heard the
pretty much zero.
The outcome is not that great.
Pretty much zero.
LinkedIn these days, what we are hearing, Sharath, like the dummy job opportunities are also coming up. Just for namesake, to showcase the positions are there, but not the actual positions. There is also another thing happening, and unfortunately, there is no way to filter or segregate whether the position posted on LinkedIn is an actual position or not. That's
See,
another challenge.
See,
one strategy I would
one
say.
thing, sorry, Albert. See,
Yeah,
one
yeah,
thing,
go ahead.
yeah, one thing, Sharath, nowadays, if assuming that I'm an investor and if I want the company, I mean, I will invest only when the company is growing, right? So typically what they do is like, there are certain sources where I would see like, do they have constant job intakes? Okay, so how many intakes they do and what is that kind of people, how many people they recruit, how many people they fire. So all this information we typically take it. Okay. So on that note, like as Satish mentioned, a lot of companies are putting some dummy opportunities ID. And as Albert told, mostly it happens only through referral, especially on FANG.
See, in relationship building, right? There's something called intentional relationship building. It's not transactional, it's intentional. By name itself, now you know what I can try to do. It is not trying to course up, but at the same time you are in touch with them, you are discussing in there with them and things like that. You are trying to put yourself in front of them with the intention which comes later. Okay, but at the same time you need to be genuine also. So one strategy which I also follow sometimes is I follow a couple of people who I want to work with. I go and discuss in the comments. Now, when you are putting in a comment, they also now know you, they're also replying to you, right? That starts building a slow relationship. Hey, this guy, what is this guy? Right? And when you are looking for a job, right, that helps you because you will be definitely connected with them. So you have their email address, you can send a mail to them. Yeah, I want this reference. Would it be possible? All those stuffs. But that comes later. But first one is to build that connection, because these companies, unless they are not in the higher positions like managers and senior managers and things like that, they are very much focused on the connection which is of helpful in nature, helpful for them also. It's not that I connect, you get added. No. Okay. So try make that connection and then get the reference from them. This is one way of doing email marketing. If you know email marketing, we first warm up the system and then we send the bulk. Okay, but till the warm up, it may take 1 month, 2 months, even sometimes 6 months. And then we send bulk mails. That time people doesn't consider that as a spam. At the same time, the systems also like Gmail and all those cases also don't block you. That's a term used in a email marketing. Okay, so similar thing. It's for relationship.
Thanks, Albert. Chaturvedi?
Right. Okay. Thanks for putting your insights as of Albert. But I have one point. Okay, it was the question from my side itself who has broken this part actually. Okay, so I have applied for, to be fair again, I don't want to just haven't hidden something. So I applied for Amazon recently. So I applied for multiple roles, whatever you have mentioned of using ATS along with AI tools of several specific things. Okay, with via reference again. I mean, it's not via, I have applied from my own, but nothing is working out. Okay, so I'm not pretty sure because I heard like some of the companies are using their tools to scrutinize the profiles on the initial way to get into the scrutinization process or to just filter out the candidates kind of a thing. But I have tried every other way. Okay, I'm not finding any results. And if you could have seen just I think a past week ago, if you would have been following the LinkedIn, there is a one company, okay, where the HR recruiters has uploaded the profile, where for the same company it has been rejected, and the HR manager also uploaded the profile, and where it has also got rejected, and they're laid off within 1 minute. Okay, so we're not pretty sure whether how does this process is going on? It is due to this current advertising about their companies, or is like to showcase that we are present in this current state, or is like if the AI tools are mismatching this whatever these things happening, because this wasn't happening previous years. So I just want an input from anyone who can just help me here. And this is a question from my side. So thanks, everyone.
Anyone want to add their points?
I think Albert, you're speaking on mute. I think you're speaking from so long time.
I'm sorry. Okay, so one thing I'm thinking, where this may be true or wrong. One is ghost posting, that is ghost interviews. That is what they just put it. They just leave it. It's just to showcase they are hiring continuously. That's one group. But Amazon doesn't do that because they don't need to do that. They don't have any reason to do that. Check out your JD. Okay, check out your entire job history, not just the latest job, but for last 10 years, the kind of work that you have done is matching, at least some match. Don't just focus on the latest job. Check for the last 10 years. Okay, the reason is, if I am looking for say for example an engineering manager and you are a project manager, right, and your titles everything is project management, and there's no engineering management, because these two are two different branches. Irrespective of what summary we put, what current wordings we do, if you don't have the flowing experience on that side, it would be a reject. Because I have done that when I was looking for the resumes when people send it. Okay, that is where I said, like, what is that needed and what is the delta that you are having? Maybe there. Another one is your expertise is not getting visible in first 10 seconds. I think 5 seconds is the actual period of time a HR looks at your resume. I think so. Five or three. I'm not very clear. But in the first 10-second glance, hey, this guy has this experience. Is highlighted? That is something you need to look into it. And another one is your profile, your resume I'm not sure about your font size and all those stuff. Keep anything above 10 font size and keep a normal font. Don't go for a very jazzy font, even if it is a referral, even if it is a referral. And another one is referral quality is also maintained. So for example, if I am working in Amazon, for example, and I'm working in a senior position, and I'm there for last 6 years, and I don't refer that much, for example, and I am referring now, there is a value to it because they are saying, hey, this guy doesn't do it. He's sending, that means he knows this guy. At the same time, I'm just a junior guy, just referring continuously. You know that, right? I have these many jobs. Please send your resumes. I will upload it. There, the weightage comes down a little bit. People do see that. Okay, though people don't say, we don't look at or we look at it, but there is a weightage added to the person who is referring you. That also could also possibly a reason. I'm not sure other reasons. Maybe others can add. Satish, I think you do a resume workshop also, right? You help a lot of people, right, Satish?
Yes, to some extent, Albert. Not exactly, but yes, we do that on need basis.
Yeah.
Thanks, Albert. Thanks for the insights.
Okay. Yes. Are we good? Okay. So this brings us to the end of today's discussion. I got a small cake just to celebrate our 3rd anniversary. I will be having it for myself for the time being. But yes, once again, thanks for all the support, involvement, and everything. So moving on, before we wrap up, as a best practice, every time we publish the details, November 8th, Hyderabad, what's new with Atlassian? There is an in-person event happening, and I am sharing the pointers on what's the new things happening within the Atlassian from Jira Confluence perspective. So we'll share the link with all the participants. Whoever is based out of Hyderabad, you can attend it in person. Then another in-person event conference coming up in the month of November 15th and 16th, Regional Scrum Gathering Hyderabad. There is another conference coming up. Feel free to reach out to me for a discount code if in case you want to register. Another Agile conference coming up by PMI. Again, this is in Hyderabad. This is on December 14th. So more than 3 members, if in case you are registering as a group, you can get some group discount also. So these are the in-person events coming up in Hyderabad for the time being. So any other locations, we will share the details with all the group members. Anything else? Anyone wants to add anything before we wrap up for today?
Anyone wants to share their experiences on this platform or through this platform?
I want to, if chance is provided.
Sure.
Well, I know this community almost from past 2.5-3 years, probably. Satish and Sharadan. Grateful to this community. Learned a lot from the people who are here, and in every conversation, I try to learn something new. So being exposed to many different activities, and I upgraded my skill set a lot, I can say. So thanks to Satish and Sharat to this is a brainchild of yours, and I believe like this will continue, and definitely like-minded people like us will participate and make this more success in the future. I wish you all the success and hearty congratulations. Thank you.
Thanks, Subbu.
And thanks everyone for your wonderful participation today. Anyone else? Albert, special thanks to you for joining and sharing your valuable insights with everyone.
Thanks, my pleasure.
And thanks, Albert, after a long time. Nice seeing you, meeting you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, any last comments from anyone? Otherwise, we can call it.
And we will share the two SU's link with all your registered email address by tomorrow. That's another value add as part of Scrum Education Group we are bringing it up. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks
Take
all.
care.
Have a great
Night.
day. Thank you. Bye. Bye, Satish. Right.